So the floor is open. Yes. Just go ahead.
Good.
You're welcome.
My name is Male Daniel. I work for the newspaper here in Juba. Basically, I would like to know the scope of coverage for this, for IAS at the moment, and the challenges that IAS faces.
Thank you. The scope of international aid services globally is we have operations in 10 countries in Africa. So our country director explained that previously, but it's from Niger, Chad, Sudan, Djibouti, South Sudan, of course, Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and Somalia. We also have countries where we work with partners in Africa, like Nigeria, Ghana, mainly those two countries. And then we have partners also in other parts, like Paraguay and Sri Lanka and Nepal. And then we have offices in Europe and America. So we have one office in Sweden, one office in Denmark, one office in the US, and one office in Germany. So that is sort of the total scope of IAS. But in South Sudan, I would like Repent to tell us a little bit where we work in South Sudan.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. In South Sudan, we have Juba office is our head office. We have office in Bahar Ghazal, Great Bahar Ghazal, in Akwem, and we also have office in Nyumbuli. We also have an office in Western Bahar Ghazal, that's in Raja, and we basically have an office also in Jungule. We cover the whole of Jungule. Today we are in Bor, we are in Bibor, we are in Gumruk, and we have an office also in Yei. And we have another office also in Mundri, but of course, right now we are not active in Mundri, but we have office there, we have equipment there, but sooner or later we will start also operation in Mundri. So basically, these are the areas where we are operation in South Sudan.
Basically, for South Sudan, the total number of people that you reach, can you tell us the number of people that you reach in South Sudan?
Well, it will depend from one location to another. If you talk like in Barghazal, we have about, when you talk of like in Bibor, Jungule, we might have reached like 1,500 people.
More than that.
This is only in the POC.
Yeah, there is the ballpark figure for South Sudan is probably around maybe 500,000 people, if you want to figure. But we need to come back with you with exact figures.
Yes.
So before you put anything statement, we need the exact figure from us.
Yes, I'm working for iRadio. Apart from water services that you are giving to the people, are there other services also? What are other services that you are rendering apart from water?
So other services, our core sector in South Sudan is water.
South Sudan, yes.
In South Sudan,
Yes.
it's primarily water and sanitation, but the other services includes inclusive education. We have been involved also in the food security sector, agriculture. We do microfinance, support to self-help groups. We do a lot of investment in the civil society. So whenever we do water and sanitation programs, it doesn't stop with the water, but we try to empower the community around the water sources. And have I missed anything?
No, I think it's right.
So that's essentially what we do in South Sudan.
Yeah.
My name is Dennis Lumo. I'm working with Reuters News Agency. We have understood that your presence in South Sudan is for over 25 years. And today in South Sudan, the crisis is still going ahead, given the fact that you people have tried and make some efforts to in this country. So what is the next plan now, given the fact that the country is still facing some crisis, and we heard that you people have the presence in other states, like the country director just mentioned. Is there any other plans that you people are thinking to maybe render in services to other areas? For example, like in other areas of control by the rebels or the government, something like that. Is there any kind of service like drilling water points and all this stuff?
Well, access is an issue everywhere you work, and access could be a restriction to us to reach some of the vulnerable people in some of the other areas. Our aim is not to maintain a presence in only safe areas. Our focus is to reach wherever we can have access to the people. So with IAS, we have had a long-term plan for South Sudan. This plan is still very much up to date. It's valid. We are still looking into possibilities to expand to certain areas where no one else is working, or add capacity where other people are working, but they feel that their own resources and capacity is limited. So to answer your question, yes, we are very much concerned about the present security situation in the country, but it is also challenging us to maybe even speed up some of the activities of the organization.
We also have a program known as RRM, Rapid Response Mechanism, that we work in partnership with UNICEF, and we do visit those areas controlled by the rebels, and we go for assessment, we see the needs, and then we come back and organize, and then we go and do something. So we have a quick assessment and quick response for a week or 5 days together with UNICEF.
My name is Gore Anthony. I work with South Sudan Television. According to the CEO, when he was giving his speech, he talked of IAS being the catalyst of development in South Sudan. Could you be specific? Tell us, how are you going to do that, and when is that going to happen? Secondly, you have today made 25 years of working in South Sudan. What are some of the remarkable achievements that we South Sudanese can one day know that your organization have been here and they have done this and this? Could you tell us some of this, please?
Thank you. I think being a catalyst for development is something we aspire to be in all countries. I think some of the programs we put in place is trying to look at that, whereby we work with the local civil society where we come. We put the affected populations at the center of our response. In South Sudan, we have gone to many areas where no one else went to before. We know water is an entry point to more of a sustainable development. You can build around a water source. And our approach to continue doing that is something called integrated water resource management, whereby water provides an entry point to a catalyst for development, where the water sector might benefit people going to school, might benefit the health sector because we provide water in health institutions, etc. So in many places we go, where even if our input is water, we can see, and the master of ceremony explained it, the ripple effects of that water in many different sectors. And we've seen it in so many places here in South Sudan. And we also use that in less successful indicators in our programs, that school enrollment rates has increased because we provide water closer to homesteads. Protection and security has increased because women, primarily women in South Sudan and in other places here, they are the primary caretakers. They don't need to walk very far for getting water, etc. So we've seen the water as a being that catalyst for development where we work. And I think looking into South Sudan, the impact we've had here, we've had 25 years. Some people said, unfortunately, our services will still be required after these 25 years, and we recognize that. I think our impact is in the many lives we've touched in the areas we've worked, in Western Equatoria, in Northern Bargasal, in Central Equatoria, and now also Jonglei, where I think a lot of the infrastructure and things we've put in place, whether it's schools we've constructed, we've done agricultural training institute in Northern Bargasal, we run a teachers training college, and thousands and thousands of boreholes and water systems around South Sudan that you can still see functioning. Some of the latest things we do is also looking into environmental friendly systems like solar systems, biosand filters, to widen our scope. And this you can still see if you go to the rural areas of South Sudan, everywhere you go.
Okay, finally, this question goes to the founder. During the speech of the State Minister of Education, he mentioned some of the challenges that are facing education sector at the state, and he told you a lot about it. What is your response into that speech as the founder, and you have aspiration of giving all the services to the citizens of South Sudan? What's your response to his speech?
I appreciate his speech very much because he was actually addressing one of the crucial areas, education. IAS has been very much involved and engaged in education programs, say, about 10, 15, 20 years ago. As was mentioned here, we were setting up several structures and also providing teacher training, both in northern Bahr Ghazal and also in western Equatoria. As we were growing as an organization, we felt that we couldn't be everywhere in every sector. So we had to reduce our activities and narrow them down a bit. And water became one of the core sectors. And it was done during a period when we saw other NGOs and the UN coming up very strong in education. So we felt that we would complement to those initiatives. The state minister today has again reminded us about the need for education. As an organization, we have no limitation in terms of not increasing activities in education. The question we have to ask ourselves, what would our role be so that we do not undermine the other core capacities and the core programs that we are involved in. And this is something for the future leadership of the organization to handle here in South Sudan. If there is a need and IS can meet that need, we have no objection to see that we are expanding in the sector of education. So this is for future discussions.
Any message to the government or the citizens of South Sudan, finally, to close the press conference? Do you have any message?
Well, as the vice chairman of IAS, you could say globally, we have 4 countries in the north, in Denmark, Sweden, Germany, and the US. And I think as an international community, we have a big obligation and responsibility to first of all, reach out and help wherever we can. But also to be part of the development of the country. Because we think that it is not enough to just provide services, but we should also empower people to be able to take care of themselves and to rise up above the crisis situation. So as the vice chairman for our organization, I think this is very, very important, and we are so glad that we have this jubilee. It is not just to look back, but it is also to look ahead and to see what will we do in the future, how will we tackle the different challenges. And as I also said in my speech, we are also happy to have a new CEO now who is going to take us further and to take us in the next coming years. And I expect that we are going to see both relief operations maybe in some parts of the world where it's needed, but also development projects, you could say interventions to get the civil society back on its feet and to take care of its own needs and its country. So I wish that so much for South Sudan, that the crisis may be over and that we are talking history when we talk about crisis, and we see a nation that is really standing up and it's getting prosperous and is able to even invest in other countries in Africa. So yeah, I wish you very well here in South Sudan.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.